we sit around and we complain about who the number one contender should be. You know, we're doing it at 55 right now. We just did it. Is it Poirier? Is it the winner of Lee Barboza? Is it Eddie? How does Tony fit in? What's Conor going to do? We sit around and we complain about these things. But, Jacob, it's the best problem you can have. And there's some divisions that don't have that problem. You know, I'll give you a fine example. Who do you want to see Rose fight if you could pick anybody for? I'll answer the question for you. Joanna.
Exactly.
Who do you want to see Joanna fight if you could pick anybody? Rose. We've seen the fight twice. Unless there's controversy or you split it 1-1, you don't go to the rubber match. Because there is nobody else that can draw in that division against either one of them for right now. And because nobody in that division has been smart enough to insert themselves into that seat. Because they all want to be liked and nobody wants to ruffle feathers, even though we're in the ass-whipping contest game. You're still left with those two. But if you're the promoter and you realize that, even if that's not a great draw, that's my best draw. But I can't do it. I just can't. There wasn't enough controversy around it. It was a pretty straightforward fight. The second one, the first one was a starching. How do you possibly come back and say to do it unless you just put your chips on the table, unless you don't swerve at all, and you just say, look, they're the only two girls that can sell any damn tickets here. I can't main event them. They're not that big of a draw. I can co-main event. There's something there. You've seen it before. I've got the packages. I got the B-roll. They both agree to the dollar figures. I'm going to sign it again. I guess that's not that compelling of a story, but I would much rather you told me that than go and create some kind of a controversy that doesn't exist. You know, we just see that at 135. We just see these misses. We just see these people that get signed for a fight, and they're going to follow that old school mentality of I go out there, I hang my head, and I run out when it's done, I shower up, and I get ready for the next one because I'm a fighter, by God. As opposed to I'm an entertainer that needs to fight and win to be given microphones and opportunities to continue to entertain in the future, but I'm an entertainer. And I will just see these, I guess right now, we'll talk about Rose. We'll talk about the Rose and Joanna situation. Why a fellow competitor at that weight class wasn't able to foresee there is nobody else in this weight class who has a name. There is no name being asserted into these conversations. When I watched the press conference about the 115-pound division, every question to do with it has to do with Rose and Joanna. I should see that as a competitor that has an upcoming fight on television that will be concluded with a microphone to make sure I am that name. And most people really have the deck stacked against them. There's 5 names, and they're all good ones. How do I stand out? When you're at 115 pounds in the women's division, which we're speaking of right now, and there is 0 names, you now have no competition. You win the seat by showing up. You ever heard the expression, you must be present to win? You ever heard the expression, 90% of success is just showing up? They're watching these press conferences, and not one of them has a pad and a pen out like you should, taking notes on a press conference, taking tallies for how many times was Joanna asked a question, how many times was Rose asked a question, how many times was Dana White asked a question about Rose, and how many times was he asked it about Joanna, and who was the next person in line? Fighters don't think like this. They don't see what's next. They don't take the temperature and judge the landscape of their divisions. Fighters will often dismiss a press conference. They will sit at a press conference and say, well, they can say whatever they want, but we have to fight. That guy's called a dum-dum. You're not going to fight up there. It's why you're wearing the suit or the dress. It's why you're seated at a table, not in a chain-link fence with a referee in between asking you if you're ready, with your corner man standing over your shoulder, with a banner that you're hoping to collect $500 on the back end. Press conferences matter. Conversations matter. You and I have 500,000 viewers that tune into this show twice a week, and we've never thrown a punch at one another. Words matter. And if you're going to watch one of these press, it gets me fired up. Gets me fired up when people can be in the business and not understand the business, Jacob. I got to collect myself right now, but it gets me fired up because I don't understand it. You're at a press conference. Two girls are sitting up there who have already fought. They're going to fight again. Should Rose lose, they're going to fight a third time. Position yourself anyway. Should Rose win, they're not. And the person who's going to be fighting for the championship is whoever can put their name in the conversation. And if you are so arrogant to yourself or to the weight class, and there's a lot of arrogance out there, where you think we've known what you've done. Well, I'm on a 3-fight win streak. Well, I don't know about it, so you're not. Well, yes, I am. Go to SureDog. Check out my record. No. It doesn't work that way. Not going to do that. Not going to do research. Perception's reality. Perception is I don't know who you are. But I'm watching this press conference. There's cameras here, and there's a whole bunch of microphones. So this is your chance to let me know who you are. Don't get in a battle of wits with me and tell me, well, that's my fault. You did your part. It's my fault I don't know. I don't care whose fault it is. I'm telling you the bottom line results. I don't know who you are. I could not name another girl in that weight class. I follow the sport, and I have never missed a show since Matt Hughes versus Carlos Newton. I don't know another girl in the weight class. I refuse to accept responsibility that's my fault as opposed to theirs. So do something and get yourself known and check the landscape of your division. There's sometimes not to strike. Don't strike just for the sake of it. There's 5 guys in front of you, and one of them's named Conor McGregor. Pick your battles. Wait for the right time. Don't make yourself look like a fool. When there's Joanna and Rose, and not a person on God's earth could name another person in that weight class, just make sure it's you. Just make sure that it's you. I watched Henry Cejudo go through this to the point that it has affected our relationship. He has since unfollowed me on Twitter of his way of letting me know he's listened to me on the show and he doesn't like what I had to say about him. Henry could not be more mismanaging his career. And he is so locked on wrapping himself in the American flag and that gold medal when he was a 20-year-old boy in 2008 that he has not yet seen this is the fight game. We're not looking for nice guys, Henry. You're a pretty nice guy. You're not what you appear to be on camera, where you're all smiles and just this little boy from 2008 that reached his gold medal dream. You're not. I'm okay with it either way. But if you want to make an omelet in this business, you're going to have to crack some eggs. You were in those positions and you missed them because you were so married to being liked. There's never been a nice, likable, monetizable, marketable champion. It hasn't happened. I will tell you the nicest, most likable, handsome, young, public servant champion ever is Stipe Miocic. The guy's great. And the guy can't draw to the point that they've had to go to somebody in a different weight class to try to get him over. Stipe's done everything right. Not insulting him in the least. I am using him because it is a name that you will recognize that's current and present, that does everything right, but the nice guy doesn't draw. So you can be Henry Cejudo and be unmad and push that little button on Twitter against Chael all you want. Chael's still right, Henry. And for the rest of the Henrys out there, if you're not willing to come in and understand this is a fight, this is the bottom rung of society, the thing nobody wants to fully mention, and behind those fancy suits and the nice smiles sits a dirty, rotten cage fighter just like me. And as much as they want to sit up there and pretend that they are something else, there is nobody at home coming to a cage fight and buying a beer before they sit in their seat that wants to see the nice guy with the smile on his face wrapped in the American flag because he won a gold medal in 2008. And if it hurts your feelings, I can't apologize. I didn't make these rules. I've just observed them and come on this show to give you the book report because apparently you didn't have time to read it.